Everybody's favorite animal rights violation simulator, Palworld, has proven itself to be more than just a Pokémon reskin, despite inspiration bordering on plagiarism. But what happens when Pocket Pair's Pokéclone finds itself the target of similar thematic theft?
Define irony.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and it's also not a bad way to make a name in the video game business. Gamers were blown away earlier this year by Palworld, which gained a ton of attention by including creatures that are basically Pokémon clones and giving them guns, labor camps, and a proclivity for cannibalism. The ensuing discourse helped the game rise to fame, but its solid mechanics, vibrant open world, and multiplayer components kept gamers locked into the Palworld experience. Now, history is repeating itself. Tencent Holdings is one of the biggest publishers in China, and two of its developers are reportedly working on mobile games in the style of Palworld. There aren't many details on the in-development games just yet, but apparently they'll feature open worlds, survival mechanics, and pets that players can capture and train. From the looks of things, Tencent seems to be hoping that it can recreate the Palworld sensation.
Everything's a copy of a copy of a copy.
Despite looking a lot like Pokémon, Palworld really does have its own identity, and the fact that it was created by a development team as small as Pocket Pair is beyond impressive. That said, Tencent's new games do sound like clones of a clone, and the conversation around these new games has caused Pocket Pair CEO Takuro Mizobe to speak up with his own thoughts. Mizobe initially responded to the reports of Tencent eyeing Palworld as a model for future games with a statement on X, formerly Twitter, writing, "Tencent is already making a Palworld clone game. In China, many companies are simultaneously developing mobile clones of Palworld. These are incredible times." That statement, translated by Automaton, got picked up by a few news outlets, and his tone was seemingly misinterpreted. Specifically, Mizobe wanted to comment on a post from IGN that read, quote, "After Palworld was accused of ripping off Pokémon, its CEO has accused other companies of making Palworld clones."
Oh no! We've been cloned!
In a new response, Mizobe clarified his somewhat surprising take on the news about Tencent. He claims he's not bothered in the slightest. Mizobe wrote, "To accuse someone of something means to say they are doing something wrong. I don't think what Tencent is doing is wrong." Mizobe went on to say that he's actually excited to see a massive company like Tencent is looking to Pocket Pair for inspiration. Mizobe continued, "The industry historically innovates when we borrow ideas from games we love." You could read that as both a statement on the latest news about Tencent and as another sly defense against the accusation that Palworld is nothing more than a Pokémon ripoff. Mizobe has a point though. Many new games are essentially iterations on things we've seen before, and this latest development seems to prove that Palworld can stand on its own 2 feet. Regardless of your thoughts on Palworld, Pocket Pair deserves some serious recognition. The small studio shook up the industry by creating an experience that mashes together successful features from multiple genres, like a sort of video game mixtape. Even if you think that Palworld isn't a particularly original game, its overall approach definitely is. Time will tell if Tencent's massive resources will be able to recreate the hype around an unexpected indie darling, but whether or not the publisher succeeds, we're clearly going to be getting pet-centric survival games for quite a while, meaning Pokémon has even more competition to be worried about.
I'm scared! Really, really scared!